This morning at Foster's, Dennis is meeting with the captain and owner of Aria to go over the punch list together for some scope of work ahead. And trust me when I tell you that these two personalities are operating on quadruple espresso level of thought. So if you're watching this, go grab another cup of coffee and try to keep up.
Now I'm in your house. You came down to Key West and walked through Aria down in the Key West Bite Marina. And now she's out of the water and now she's naked and exposed and I'm feeling a little embarrassed.
Once the boat gets pulled out and you start looking at the bottom and all of that stuff, you're like, oh, this way, well, look at this, well, look at. So there's usually a couple things that come up, and then when you do a refit, you know, and you start putting all the refits together, there's always extra things that come up when you open things up. You do some discovery, you cut open this thing, and now you find this. So that's pretty common when the boats come out there, but nothing that we can't handle and get taken care of where she's looking nice and pretty.
I don't doubt it. It's a big list. I think we're gonna add some pages to your clipboard.
Yeah,
here.
that's why I brought two.
Jesus.
You got your list and then your wish list over here.
Checking and savings.
Correct. Checking and savings account. You know, savings account you're not supposed to be touching.
It's true. Well, you have a choice. You can either have a savings account,
right,
or you can have a boat.
All right, let's start over there in the back there on the rudder with the sail drive.
The whole low end on this sail drive,
yeah.
I believe I got a bad seal in here and I'm actually leaking transmission fluid because in Key West during lobster season, coming back at night, you just cannot see the lobster traps. They will wrap around the prop and then that cable gets caught in this gap right here. Once it gets in there, the friction goes here, it heats it up and it melts it and it becomes one and gets actually sucked up into this shaft here where the spline is. I think that burned a hole in the single point of failure inside here. I just bought the boat, so I have no idea what its, true maintenance history is like. So today is the checkup and, you're my new HMO. Also this skirt here, within a month, it was peeling off. I guess that's common, but I'd love to come up with a solution because what's happening is this drapes down here and then life starts spawning in there, crustaceans and all kinds of crazy things. We pulled dead fish out of there.
So what we're doing is we're going to drop the sail drives, we'll change the seals, check the oils, check the bearings, and make sure everything's good. And then basically service the unit and then put it back up so it's already been gone through. Perfect. And what we're also going to do is we're probably going to sand this after we strip the bottom, and we're going to do this in prop speed. So it's really good to put these in prop speed as
What's
well.
prop speed?
Prop speed is like a zinc coating that they use. It's very good because it's made specifically for metal and turning parts. So you'll see it on props, you'll see it on the shafts, and then they also put it on still fixtures such as rudders, through-hole fittings, and they use it for the hydraulic swim platform systems as well.
All right, so this is the bane of my existence right here. This is just terrible. Again, lobster traps. What happened here is you have a buoy, which lets the lobsterman know where his trap is. As it goes to either side of the starboard hull, it'll get bound up in here, up on the other side, or as it happened here, that cable slid up here. One side went down to the lobster trap, then one went to the buoyant buoy, which is trying to get to the surface. It got caught here, and then through the travel through the water, just started sawing its way through the gel coat and has made its way through to the foam core all the way to the fiberglass. It just simply won't go any further.
Yeah, right.
And I'm lucky that this thing didn't snap.
Well, you can see there's a crack going all the way up to here. So what we'll do is we're going to cut out some sections over here, grind it out, re-fiberglass, vacuum bag in some new core, glass it all up and repair it. And then we can make a nice stainless kind of cap right going on here that's got a taper of it. And then here, we just have to investigate this. It might just be isolated here. And if it's really 50% or more, something like that, then we'll just put new foam in there and glass it all up for you.
Got it. All right, so this keel, yet another lobster trap.
We're going to cut all of this out, put a piece of core in there depending on how far it goes back, make sure we grind it and taper it in, re-glass it, and then from this aft trailing edge to the forward trailing edge, we could do like a shoe. We're going to put some red board on the flat area, and as we come up these trailing edges, we'll make another piece of stainless go in here. So when you're beaching this all the time, and again, coming from either aft or forward, you can't have that sawing action anymore because we'll have that piece of stainless on here as well. So what we have here, we got a lot of blistering and peeling. You can see here, this has got multiple coats of bottom paint on it. So you can see in some areas where it wasn't prepped right, you just peel it right off. It just peels and comes off. So you can see the other color, then you can see another color down there. And then under this, you usually have a primer, which is right there. You see your gray primer?
And this is all sand abrasion from beaching the boat.
Yeah, you can see this right here where it took off the bottom paint from sand abrasion and it's actually working its way up. And you do have some blisters here that need to be opened up and you'll be able to get a better look at them. When we tent this off and strip the boat down to the gel coat, you'll be able to see the blisters a little bit more better and you can open them up and repair them at that time.
Okay.
And then what we're gonna do is after all this old bottom paint and primer comes off, we're gonna put on 2 coats of Seahawk Tough Stuff epoxy primer and then 2 coats of Seahawk BioCop TIA, and it works great. And I think once you have a new bottom, new primer, new bottom paint, you shouldn't have that many problems out there with your paint.
Now on each of these bows, on this one, this was hit by a jet ski. And a hole went in the boat forward of the bulkhead. And I know air and water is getting in there.
So what we would do with this is after we strip down the bottom, we'll take a good look at this area and just see if there's any body work or cracking in here. And then right up there, we would just basically grind that out and refiberglass that, taper our layers out and then do the body work. That's just stress fracturing, nothing structural though.
When we're in rough seas, the bows will infrequently get submerged or they'll get spray.
Yeah.
And I believe that we have water incursion because of that.
So what we would do is we'll probably remove and take those screws out and check it out. And if it's soft in there, or if we see any soft area or water saturation, obviously we'd have to cut that out, either replace some core and refiberglass it, and then re-drill and tap new screws and caulking in there so that that doesn't happen.
This is like a battle zone here.
Yeah.
There's a lot of scars here.
I think what we would do here again is we would grind all of this out down to the fiberglass, look at it for any splits or fractures or peeling away. And you can see that they did a big gel coat repair here before. That really didn't match well and they just tried to polish it up. But you can see underneath it's peeling away and it's still cracked. I don't think the damage has been fixed here. So we'll definitely take a look at that and get that taken care of, not a problem. You want to talk about these?
What?
Put some proper ones in?
Okay, what's wrong with, talk to me.
These are plastic.
Okay.
You can put those nice bronze ones in if you want with LED.
Okay, these are LEDs.
Yeah, I know. Those are LEDs. Those are plastic though. But I'm just saying if you want to put a different type or a different style.
A different type of light?
Yeah, or you have to. It would be the same conjuncture, but it'd just be a different brand, and because these are plastic, and you could put your hands here.
Right.
They get eaten up and worn out, and there's not any protection on here. After a while, you'll start to get this growth on there, and it'll start eating the plastic away, and eventually this will become a little hazy.
Now, the ones you have, they're color changing?
Yeah, color changing. It goes to 3, 4, 5 different colors.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I've got 4 on the aft.
4, okay.
2 that face interior, 2
Right.
that face exterior, and if we are going to do something, we might as well do the bows too.
Yes, got it.
I really don't like the fact that the entire weight of the boat is on these blocks.
Yeah.
That's kind of bothering me fundamentally.
Yeah, that's when they do this, that's how they block them, because you have to go right from the center point with the keel. And then you look up, they have the forward jack stands.
Just in
and
case?
And you got aft jack stands. So it's properly disproportionate.
Okay.
So
you say so. Do you mind if we get out from under it then?
No, let's get out of here.
I don't know if you're aware, but this boat also has an interior.
Really?
So we might want to go inside and...
Oh, okay. I thought we were just hanging out on the exterior.
No, get your legal pad, because we got...
All right.
This party's only just beginning. This teak deck, there's 2 schools of thought. Let it age and let it look classic, or seal it. You varnish it, seal it.
Yeah.
Problem is, this is always wet. When people go swimming, they come here to get their drinks, and if we seal it with too much of lacquer coat on it,
Right.
this becomes slip and slide.
Yeah, so there's a couple things you can do with here. Depending on the thickness, you still got the thickness. I've already looked. There's plenty of teak there. When it gets down below 1/4 of an inch, it's real thin. You want to replace the decks. But here, you can save this. And what I can do here is a refinishing job. We sand this with a couple different grits of sandpaper, and we'll smooth it out. These decks will come right back alive. They'll look like they're brand new. And then what happens is when the water gets on them again, they start turning brown and they look, a little bit dirty and moldy and crusty all the time. So what we'll do is you put 1 to 2 coats of teak sealer on this. It'll absorb into the pores, and that way you don't have nothing on the direct top surface where you're slipping off.
Got it.
So what we'll do is we'll do the refinishing on these. I'll make these things look brand spanking new, like they just got replaced, which we didn't. And then we'll put 1 to 2 coats of sealer on here so that it's sealed and it preserves that color and that freshness for quite a while.
These cushions are brand new.
Huh?
These cushions
Oh,
are
we're
brand
getting rid of those.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Why?
Because I'm gonna put something nice there.
Okay.
Those are garbage. Whoever built them should take them and stick them up their one color. When I do these, I do a different color every, there'll be 3 groups of stripes here. And then I'll do the piping a different color and they pop. This is just like blah and plain.
Dennis is a sales guy. If there's one thing that needs to be replaced or repaired, he just said, screw it. We're gonna go get the best that's ever been built with alien technology from the future and get that on the boat.
I just got these.
Yeah, well.
Like literally, this is like, you know, 2 months old.
Yeah, I know, and you can already see what's going on here with the foam. It's not very good. It's already starting to warp, it's already starting to bow. They have the textiline here. And when you do these, they should have these little grommet drains here too. So they put little bronze grommet drains in the corners. So when water does get into this is an open cell foam like it should be, it'll drain out. But sometimes this gets trapped between the textiline and the gel coat surface. And then when you have water in between these, and you leave them sit there for a while, they get bubbles into the fiberglass because they're just sitting there.
I think Dennis at one point forgot that this is not some private rich guy's yacht. You know, this is a side job for me, and all this is a charter boat.
We'll come up with something real nice for you. I'll design something. We'll do the piping in a different color. We might have some stripes here in 3 different areas so that all of this seating arrangement that you have here pops, especially since it's party central.
All right. That's not what I wanted to hear because these I just bought these.
So Dennis is like, you need rawhide leather couches and suede ceilings and a fur toilet seat and granite countertops and glow-in-the-dark silkworms knitting your bedspread. You can tell Dennis is used to captains with mega budgets with gigantic dreams. That's just not exactly what I was looking for. But that's what I got.
So I had a guy build me a table out of starboard, and then he put these little rails on here so that it's not going to fall onto the deck, and then it will also drain if it gets hit with rain or something like that. So love to know what you want to do there. And if you are replacing these cushions, and I've known you long enough to know that you're going to insist, and if you're going to redo this, if you could make it so that something could be fashioned on here so that this can turn into a bed. Then this whole thing here is now the biggest bed in the boat.
Got it. What we would do is we put ledges here. There'd be like little rails like this that we put here. So when this goes down, it sets on these ridges.
Okay.
When you put this down, you can adjust this. It sets on these ridges, and you can have another cushion that you pull out. You put right over here, and then this is one big bed.
Bingo.
Yeah. So that would be good.
All right, so now that you've just shattered all my hopes and dreams here for Party Central, so in here is a 15 kW genset. Way overpowered for this boat, so that's why it's got this huge compartment here. If I open this, you've got the Godzilla of all generators. Is there anything we can do with this functional space here that is, your interior design ladies, you're somebody with feng shui, I got a whole lot of space and I don't want to put fishing rods, because what happens when you're on charter for several days, any flat surface on a boat is going to attract clutter. And then you get to sea, and something falls down, and they always look at me. Like I ran over a speed bump or something. So alternatively, on the other side, I've got a ice maker in here. This is 110. So it only works at shore or when I'm got the generator on.
Got it.
Is there a 12-volt ice maker out there that can fit in this plumbed, filtered spot?
I'm pretty sure there is. We'll just have to look at what type and what brand based on obviously your electrical requirements. But 12 volt, there is a 12 volt ice maker out there, because obviously 110 you have to run off of there. So this would be good because this would tie in with your serving area here. Now that I've seen that window open and I'm trying to get this in my head of being a little bit creative, you're going to be serving there. So having this like a little bar / countertop area where you can serve the food and people can kind of turn around, grab it, and come right back out to the table
kind of
and
buffet thing, and this is where they feed, and this is where they serve.
That would be really good.
Also, this is plumbed for a sink or an ice maker or a fridge. So I put an ice maker in here, and there's a filter unit in there, and you'll be able to see. This whole area here sweats. So this little area is always wet. You'll see it where that green slime is.
Yes, I see it right there.
So it's wet in here. It leaches out here, and then what ends up happening is, because I don't have a line management solution, it turns all my lines now have seaweed on them.
Got it.
They got algae growing on them. So this sits in the sun, and it's just going to turn into the Amazon. So this whole thing here, there should be some kind of tray under there, and some kind of drill hole or drain.
Yeah.
Not unlike this drain here.
Yeah.
Why doesn't that drain right into here? It's only 6 inches.
So we either need to come up with a vent where these two areas can ventilate, maybe on the steps here or something, or we've seen where we've had to put computer fans in here before and just blow up some ventilation in there. Like if you have an ice maker refrigerator, to put a computer fan there to keep it ventilated.
Okay, so the leak is somewhere up here behind these panels. You can see how some of these panels are bowing.
Yeah.
They've definitely been hit by moisture.
Yeah, what we would do is we take all these panels, these are done with a button system. So these are buttons, then there's a screw there, you pull the screws down and take the panels. You'll see some of the panels are warped. The reason why this is because the screws are too far apart. So if you got a really long run like this, there should probably be another screw within each just to keep it straight. Because what it does is it sags over time, especially when you're running a boat and doing this.
Right.
And when we take all of these panels down, we'll do a water test up there and we'll kind of look for any holes or weep holes or penetration where that water might be coming in and running down, and we'll be able to identify the leak, fix it. And then when we put these panels back up, we can add extra buttons and secure them properly so where they're not sagging or just being warped.
Got it.
Well, as we predicted, that was quite the punch list. Even though there's a lot to do on this vessel, Dennis never flinched a bit, nor did the confidence waver in any way. But the million-dollar question is, can Dennis actually do every single thing he's promised to this captain? And do it on time and on budget? There's always 1,000,001 things that can go wrong with any boat, even on a good day.
He didn't make it?
Keep watching to see if Dennis can keep his word and reputation intact. Or is this a total disaster and Dennis has finally crossed a bridge too far? Either way, it's going to be significant. Keep watching to see what happens next.